Getting older. It's better than the alternative. Welcome to Change the Conversation with the Hopefulist. My name is Wendy McClure, and it's time we had a conversation about living in a patriarchy and how that affects our lives. Together, we can make a difference and change the conversation. Absolutely. Together, we can do it. So I thank you. I honor you for being here today, for looking for a way to make things a little bit better for women in this country, a little bit better for the women in your lives, a little bit better for you. And the only way that we are going to do that is to talk about this patriarchal system that we live in, point out how absurd most of it is and how we don't even realize it because it's all we've ever known. We think, well, this is just how it is. This is normal. It's not. It's not normal. It's not fair. It's not equitable. It's not a lot of things. And that is what I am here to do with you, to point out these absurdities and to help you see that we've all been living under patriarchy, and that is not benefiting us as women in any way. So I thank you again for being here, and hopefully we can continue to forge conversations that will make people think just a little bit differently. And that's why today I wanted to talk about aging. Aging in a patriarchy. It's like, oh, no. No, that's the worst thing you can do in a patriarchy. If you are a woman, is to age. It's just for women, as we know. Men get distinguished as they age. Women get haggard. They look wrinkly. They look old. So why is this? Well, the main reason is because as women age, we get wiser. We start to recognize what's been happening. We are on to the system. We know that they're trying to diminish our worth as we get older because they don't want us to talk to the young girls. They don't want us to be seen as wise and knowledgeable because then the young women would be more inclined to listen to us. But as they paint us as these old, angry, bitter women, nobody's going to pay attention to us if that's what they think about us, because who would want to take advice from an old, angry, bitter woman? But we're not old, angry, and bitter. We're smart, we're wise, we're knowledgeable, and we're on to the system. And they don't like that. So they try to discredit us. That is the problem with aging in a patriarchy, is they will do everything they can to diminish you and dismiss you because they know that you have got the goods on them, that you are going to start spilling the tea, and they will do everything they can to avoid that at all costs. So I'm not sure how old you are. I am in my early 50s. I am 53. I am going to be turning 54 in about 2 months. Oh my gosh. Why does 54 sound so much older than 53? Is it just me? Oh my gosh. But do you feel it? No matter your age, do you feel it? With each passing year, you notice your worth and significance getting smaller and smaller in society. And it's for all of those reasons that I just mentioned. I talked a little bit about this the last episode. I still dye my hair. I feel a little bit like a bad feminist by doing that. But again, to have any relevance in this society, you can't be an old woman. I mean, you can be an old woman, but to be taken seriously, you have to at least look younger than you are. We just totally worship youth in women in this country. Again, it is okay to age if you are a male. Think about that. look at this guy. Oh, he looks so good. He has aged well. When is the last time you said a woman has aged well? Unless she's a supermodel. Cindy Crawford probably has aged well. But seriously, like in everyday life, how many times have you heard, well, she has really aged well? I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure there are a couple of instances. But the whole point is to make women feel bad about themselves as they age so that they won't feel relevant, so that they won't go out and speak their truth and speak the knowledge that they have, so that if they do dare to do that, then no one will believe them. That's why we do this. That's why the country is so youth obsessed. That's why women are obsessed with looking youthful. A lot of it has to do with attracting men because that's what's been deemed attractive. But at the same time, it's about relevance. Like, I don't dye my hair because I'm trying to attract some man. I'm married. My husband has already told me, go gray. I don't care. Have at it. It's going to save us a lot of money. But I feel the need to still be taken as seriously as I possibly can be in this society that devalues older women. Because once I let my hair go gray, then, there's just no hiding anything. And it's not a secret that I'm in my 50s. It's very clear. You can see it with every line on my face. And I do not get Botox. I do have a pretty stringent skincare routine. It's not helping. It's never going to get rid of these wrinkles on the top of my forehead or this H I have in between my eyes. The only thing that's going to do that is surgery. Botox probably wouldn't even help with that all the way. And as I'm looking at myself in the camera right now, I see the dark circles under my eyes. This is called life. This is what happens. And I personally have been a sun worshiper for my entire life, knowing that it would come back to bite me at some point, because I still love to sit in the sun. But now I'm getting all kinds of dark spots on my face and everywhere else too, but they're most prominent. You can see them the most. They stand out the most on my face. And I hate them. But why? Why do I hate the dark spots? Because I've been taught to by society and by other women. Who deems them unattractive? Somebody one time said they're unattractive. So now that's what they are. If we really just thought about what all of these signs of aging mean, it is a badge of honor. Every wrinkle and line on my face is representative of a life well lived. I have laugh lines. That's really the only nice thing they've ever done for us, is allow us to call the lines around our eyes laugh lines. We have laugh lines. We have, the lines of the parenthesis lines around your jaws. There's all kinds of things that they want to pinpoint about how women lose their looks as they age. But men in society have deemed it that way. If you look way back in history, and I don't have real stats or anything, this is just things that I've read over time, but way back in the day when women were more revered in certain cultures, it was a sign of affluence to be fat, because it meant you had the money to buy food, to overstuff yourself. That women in a lot of Native American cultures are the elders, the wise women, the one you come to for advice. Not here in the good old US of A. Oh, no, we don't know nothing. We are just old and bitter that we're not young and hot anymore. And, that's not true for me. It's not true for me. they have taught me to hate my dark spots. I've got a couple here and a new one up here, and I get new ones all the time. I'm constantly looking in the mirror and going, oh, look, a new dark spot. The funny part is I have that little hairspray now, that color spray that you put on when your roots are growing in, and sometimes that'll leave a spot like on my forehead, and I'll get a new dark spot, and I'll be like, oh, no, it's just the hairspray from, when I was, nope, it's totally new. I'm like, nah. So somebody somewhere along the line deemed that dark spots are a sign of aging, which, of course, we know is horrible and bad in this society. So we need to be the ones to reassign the meanings behind all of that is happening to us. Because honestly, and I say this all the time, what is the alternative? What is the alternative to aging? Death. Yes, death. So would we rather be dead than look old? I know I wouldn't. But it would be nice to still feel relevant and to feel like you matter to the society and the culture you live in. Is that asking too much? According to patriarchy, yes, it is. It's asking too much. But this is the change in the conversation we need to be having. Men are wise as they get older. The experience makes them more valuable, but experience makes women less valuable. It's crazy. It's completely absurd. But how would your life be different, do you think, if you didn't have all this pressure to look young, to look younger than you are? There's so many women getting Botox and fillers and all of this stuff, and they are not cheap. Because, I probably would have tried Botox at some point before now if it weren't so ridiculously expensive and I knew that it was something that I had to keep up with. I'm cheap enough where I just never could commit to the cost of it. So there are women who are actively trying to turn back the hands of time when it comes to how they look. And again, sometimes it's for the attraction of men, and sometimes it's just to remain relevant in the society. Because women are not considered relevant to begin with. They're not considered significant. But when you become older, it's even less. So how do you think your life would look? How different would it be if you didn't look in the mirror every day and cringe? If you didn't look in the mirror every day and say, oh, great, another new dark spot. Oh, great, look, the lines on my head, they're getting deeper. Oh, look, I have more lines. Now I'm getting them around my lips and my jawline. How different do you think life could be if we didn't put ourselves through that every single morning? I'm pretty sure it would be a lot better. A hell of a lot better. And the thing with this, young versus old, this society pits young women against older women and vice versa. Society tries to teach young women that older women are old and bitter and angry, so they won't listen to us. And that's all fine and dandy when you're 20, and then when you're 30, and then you keep going and you start to think, well, I guess I'm going to be one of those old bitter women now. And you start to revolt by trying to change your appearance to appear younger. And it's a vicious cycle. And we're all falling for it. We're all falling for it. So what I want you to think about is, what would happen if you got up every morning and you just were grateful for the person staring back in the mirror? No matter what she looks like. No matter the wrinkles, no matter the dark spots, no matter the circles, just be happy that you're still here. That you still get to live this day, this gift. Because We don't always think of life as a gift because we go through some really hard times. And it's hard to think of it that way when we're going through a tough time. But there has to have been good times in your life, and you want more of those. So how much more could you enjoy the good times if you weren't constantly putting yourself down for the atrocity of aging? Because here's the thing, ladies, it's natural. And it's going to happen regardless of what we do. We can spend all kinds of money on cosmetic surgery and Botox and all of this stuff to try and ward it off. But if you do that, then you may overdo it, like Madonna has been completely crucified lately for going overboard, saying she looks like a Muppet. Joan Rivers was another one, went way too far with her plastic surgery, in my opinion. I thought that she looked very clownish. So, you have to have the exact right measure of it. You have to have the exact right amount of money for it, which is a lot. Or you can consider aging a privilege, and that each spot and each wrinkle is because of a story of something that happened in your life that made you the person that you are, that helped you secure your goals, to raise a family, to look for love. Because they're always going to try and tear us down. I remember when the show Desperate Housewives first came out, and I watched it maybe the first couple of seasons, but I remember when that show came out, I was in my 40s, and that's basically how old generally they were on that show, these housewives. And I remember looking at Terry Hatcher, not just her, but all of them, and I was like, so this is what we have to look like in our 40s now? Like, do we ever get a chance to just let go? And now I don't want to let go, but not for the same reasons. It's not about my face. It's about my health. I looked at these super skinny women and I'm like, ugh, I just want to eat brownies and ice cream. What is wrong with that? I don't want to do that. I mean, I still want to do it. Don't get me wrong. But I want to be healthy because I want to live a healthy, long life. I don't want to live a long life being bedridden in a wheelchair, not being mobile. I want to live a long, healthy life where I can move and go upstairs and walk long distances and play lots of pickleball. I want to be a healthy person, not so that I can look good, but so that I can feel good. And once you start looking at it that way, it really changes everything. It really becomes about how you feel about yourself. And that is the goal here. I want you to not only feel good about yourself, but to live life for yourself, to stop decentering, to start decentering everybody in your life, decentering men, decentering kids. I'm not saying don't pay attention to them. I'm saying stop making them the priority in your life. You should be the priority in your life. Your husband is the priority in his life. For the most part, his career, his hobbies, his habits, his preference of where to live, all of that kind of stuff. And obviously there are exceptions, so don't come at me with that. And then your children. You do everything you can for your children. Do you think that your children think of you first when they make a decision? No, of course not. So stop thinking of them first when you're making a decision. You need to center yourself in your own life because no one else is going to do it. Life is short, and I want you to have the best possible life. I want you to live the life that you've always wanted to live, that dream life, the one where you wake up every day and you're excited for the day, that you're happy that you get to live another day, that you have another day where you can do all of the things that bring you joy. And that starts with looking in the mirror every day and not picking yourself apart. until we can change the conversation around aging in a patriarchy, which is going to take a very long time, we have to just stop caring what they say. We have to look at it differently ourselves. And it's hard. I know it's hard. Like I said, new dark spot popping up all the time. But what if I made dark spots not something that was horrible? What if it was a badge of honor? What if it was like, oh, that was probably that Sunday afternoon in June of 2013 when I was at the beach all day. Boy, that was a great day. What if we did that instead? Wouldn't life be so much more grand? Wouldn't life be so much sweeter if we could associate that stuff with good memories and good times instead of thinking that our life is over? Because that's what they've trained us to do, and it's worked. So don't beat yourself up for doing it all this time. They've tricked us. They're very good at tricking us, but we're waking up. We know better. And when we know better, we do better. That, of course, Maya Angelou, for any of you who don't know. So how do we move on? Well, as I was just talking about, start decentering men from your life. It's okay to have a man in your life. It's okay to care about men, to love a man, to want to spend your life with a man. I'm just saying, put yourself and your needs ahead of his, as he's already likely been doing for himself. Speak up for what you want, for what you need, for what you desire. Center yourself and center your needs. And if you're not sure what that is yet, I can help. You can check out my website because I offer empowerment coaching, a couple of different levels. And together we can figure out what it is that you want out of the rest of this life that you have to live here on earth to make it the best it can possibly be. Because time is running real quick lately. I mean, it's just running really quickly. I always say that life is like a roll of toilet paper. The closer you get to the end, the faster it goes. Yeah, whoa, time is going so fast. And I want you to make the most of it. Make the most of all of the time that you have left. Because me, as a 53-year-old, I'm banking on another 30, 40 years. That's what I'm counting on. Now, I was actually just speaking to a coworker of mine, and she said that she had a conversation with somebody about life expectancy. And they're saying that it's going to be into the hundreds very, very soon. Like my age group. I don't know how I'm going to afford to live that long, but that's another concern for another time. But yeah, plan on living a long life. Plan on living a long, healthy life. Get your eating habits in order. Work out a little bit. Start doing some strength training to strengthen those bones so that you can ward off injuries and sickness. I want you to look in the mirror and be happy with what you see. And that won't happen overnight. You won't look in the mirror tomorrow morning after listening to this and say, oh, look at me. I look so nice. No, of course not. It's going to take practice. It's going to take some journaling to figure out what is the specific reasons that you are afraid to age. What is it to you that scares you the most? And work through that. And take away all of those reasons and just live. Be happy. We just don't have time for anything else. So as I mentioned, please check out my website. Look into the empowerment coaching. If anything in this podcast episode today resonated with you, please feel free to share it with your friends. Speak about it on your social media. Maybe share a post of mine. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe or follow button. It's completely free, will always be free, and leave me a review if you have not. If you've not left me a review, what is wrong with you? Now, the reviews really help get the podcast out to more people, so you'd be doing me a huge favor if you would go and write a review for Change the Conversation with the Hopefulist. So I want you to go out there and be badass this week. Always remember, I'm cheering you on. Thank you for joining me in this conversation. Together, we are better. Please visit my website at hopefulist.com and remember to hit that subscribe or follow button.